Hello and welcome to Just Arsenal. My name is Neo, and today we're going to be talking about our first win of the season against Nottingham Forest, the unfortunate Urian Timber injury, and what that means for us for the rest of the season, but more importantly, what that means for Crystal Palace Monday nights. Do we have the squad depth? Did Arteta make the right signings? Let's get into it. So indeed, we have started off with a 2-1 victory against Nottingham Forest. It was a comfortable win, although they did have that late sort of dominance after they scored a counter-attacking goal. But if you look at the possession and if you watch the game in its entirety, you'll be able to see that we were in control. Unfortunately, Urian Timber suffered a very, very serious injury. It looks like he's going to be out up to 8 months. That's the majority of the season. Hopefully he comes back when we're ready to win the league or the Champions League. But nevertheless, let's get into exactly how we transitioned from our goalkeeper into the final third and exactly how Arteta is trying to play this type of football that he wasn't playing last season. So this was our base formation. We had the four at the back with inverted wing back Partey playing in over here. And then we had Rice, we had Havertz, Odegaard, and Nketiah's doing his free roaming role that Gabriel Jesus normally does. But normally he'll be the sole striker over here. And then we have Martinelli and Saka really, really wide. Now I really, really want you to pay attention to Havertz and Odegaard because normally in last season we were over here, all right? So the central midfielders, they were over here, all right? But now you can see we're a little bit wider, all right? So we're in these half spaces, and that is called the Mazzala. But I just want you to pay attention for a moment to how we're going to transition from this formation into this, which is the three at the back, the 3-2-4-1. Okay, so this is when Partey drifts in from that inverted. Rice is obviously giving support to Partey and to obviously the centre back at this part. Because remember, this is the middle part of our transition. It's the mid phase of the transition. We're moving these five here, all right? We're moving them about. We know that these five are going to stick. No matter what happens, these five are going to stick. But these five, they're going to try and put us into these awkward sort of traps and try and use their work rate and stamina in order for them to put us into vulnerable positions. Arteta knows that Nottingham Forest are going to play this type of football. But now the difference is now we go from this to this, where it's a two at the back with our centre-back Saliba and White. Urian Timber's gone from the wide centre-back role to a more defensive mid-role with Rice and Partey. And now we've got creative freedom, complete freedom for Martinelli, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, and Nketiah to just do what they need to do up there. And here we have another screenshot, right? And this is normally what would have happened last season, more times than not. We saw this now, where Ben White has come from this situation here. You've got Saka in this situation here, and he has done a fake run and actually gone this way, allowing Ben White to get this ball here. So I hope you can see exactly what Arteta is trying to do. He's trying to give us the capability of trying to play 3-4 different formations in one given time. We are trying to go through 3-4 different formations, but Arteta is using a particular type of style in order for us to get from the middle phase to the final third of the pitch in order for us to start executing the attacks, the creative attacks that we are trying to do. Let me show you how. Now, as you can see here, we have Odegaard, Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli circled, right? So as you can see here, we're trying to get into these channels here. Now, Urian Timber has the ball in this scenario. He gives it to Havertz, and then Martinelli is really, really wide. We know that they have a back five, which is really, really compressed. So in order for you to get past it, you need to make space. In order for you to make space, you need to get something that's obviously compressed and stretch it out. Stretching the fullbacks wide and then leaving gaps for Odegaard to run into, Havertz to run into, Rice to run into, and Nketiah to have a bit more freedom to do what he wants to do. Now, take this, for example, completely different scenario. You have Declan Rice, and they usually form this diagonal line when they're trying to go for this overload. So you have Declan Rice over here, you got Timber on the ball again, Havertz has drifted out wide. This time we've got Saka, who's going to drift in, and Martinelli is still wide. And this is proving exactly what I'm trying to say. All right, Martinelli is drifting him to over there. He's thinking that Havertz is in this half position, he's wide. He's not going to do anything dangerous. Martinelli gets the ball out wide. Havertz has done this just a run, just a straight run. And now Timber has two options. He's either going to give it to Saka, who's about to come into this half space here, and he can probably play with a 1-2 with Havertz, who can obviously go forward, or he can give it to Martinelli, and he can play the ball into Havertz with two passes. And that's exactly what we did. So we went from this, and then to this, and then to here in two passes. Havertz was here. He was here. He knew what run to make. All right, it's very, very important for you to realize he knew what run to make. And as he's in this position here, he's already looked over his shoulder because he's expecting Martinelli to give him the ball that he's been giving him in training. And here we have it again in this position here. They're on the back foot. He's out, he's out, he's out. Saka's going to drive here. Nketiah's going to drive here. Odegaard's going to drive here. And we're going to try and get into a goal scoring position. You can again see, if we take Saliba out of the picture, we see White, Saka, Partey, Nketiah, and Odegaard. They're overloading again on one side. We go into this position here where we have done a bit of trickery. Odegaard is an outlet over here, but he's obviously spun past him and he's going to bend it far corner for an amazing goal. Essentially, Saka has 4 different options in order for him to try and go towards goal or score a goal. We may see different type of styles along the way because I'm starting to see Arteta and his squad of staff. They have this innovative sort of way of thinking about football, which is similar to Manchester City. Obviously, Arteta being a product of Pep, but I'm starting to see the differences now in terms of how they're trying to play football. How are we going to replace Timber for the following game, obviously for the next 8 months? But we're talking about Crystal Palace on Monday night. So let's go into the tactics screen and let's see exactly how we're going to do that. We have obviously our formation against Crystal Palace. They usually play a 4-5-1, a deep 4-5-1. And you never know, depending on how they want to play, they may go into a 5-4-1, when they're defending, and then obviously use the athleticism of Eze, Schlupp, and Ayew to kind of get us forward. But also Edouard as well, he's physical. They have some physical players. I still think Arteta's starting to realize that we need Partey in the middle of the field to bring us that composure. I still think Partey will probably play on the right, and then he will slot in. Rice will move over. White will come into this wide centre right back, if you want to call it that. And then Gabriel will shift over to create this free at the back that we like, okay? And then that allows Nketiah to get forward into these positions here, Havertz to get into that position here. Remember, we love the Mazzala overload, it seems like that, especially against formations that have, really strict lines, really compressed lines between the midfield and the defense. We want to play these Mazzala roles, these Mazzala overload, in order for us to stretch the team out there. And then we're probably going to be a case where, we'll probably have to double up here. Someone's going to have to come help here, which is going to leave space here and so forth. All right. But that depends on if Zinchenko is available or not. And I'm suspecting he probably is from what I've been hearing and what I've been reading. But knowing Arteta and knowing his history, he doesn't like to rush players back. Now, we're probably going to see Edouard and Eze, especially Eze. He's someone that can kind of do this. He's very, very good. Kind of do that. And then obviously, what you're going to get from Ayew. He's not going to really come into this direction here. He is going to go down here. He's going to try and beat our left back and go to this position here with the ball in order for him to send it over here. All right. And with Edouard, his physicality, he's tall, he's strong. who'll be able to try and cause some problems for us. I just think this Mazzala overload is going to confuse a couple of teams for the first couple of weeks, maybe months, and then maybe, you know, due to teams having great coaches and great tactical analysis, we're probably going to see, you know, a team or teams trying to counteract that, and then probably Arteta will switch it again. And really and truly, if he wanted to switch it again, he can go into this position here where we're playing Gabriel. One of them can come out, whether it be Rice or Partey, and then we can still go back into this formation here that we was playing before, which is the box midfield, the box centre midfield, which is obviously Martinelli comes up here, Havertz is in this position here, Partey is over here, sorry, Odegaard over there, Partey over here, and then Zinchenko comes through to make this box over there, okay? And then we allow ourselves to get into this back three position there. But if you watched Manchester United's match against Wolves, we're starting to see that teams are either playing the same position that Pep has created last season, or you're starting to see teams counteract that formation. You saw that against Wolves. You saw Wolves punish Man United on a number of occasions because they literally know that the only way they can really go right now is through the middle. So if they pack out the middle, so if we do this, so Edouard there, and then Eze there, and then Decore has to mark him there, and there, we're all marked out. Done. All right? And then all Aye has to do is come through here, and depending on where the ball is, if the ball is over there, okay, over here, all we literally have to do, or all Crystal Palace had to do, and what Wolves done against Manchester United, is that they shifted every single part of the pitch into this section here. So they left everyone here, yeah, and they shifted it to here. So that meant Onana was trying to look for passes there, look for passes there, look for passes there, wasn't working, and the only person they had in that instance was Wan-Bissaka, not the best of ballers on the ball. And they just played them, and then obviously they rushed out to rush him. With the Mazzala overload, it gives us different combinations, different types of ideas, different types of creative flair, where, you know, we can have this situation where Martinelli is really, really wide, obviously, because he's an inverted forward. And we honestly did see this where Havertz was the widest person, and then Martinelli come in and he's trying to go for these positions here. And you saw in the previous screenshot that I showed you that Saka was all the way over here passing Ketia, who was in this position here. So again, we're starting to interchange and we're starting to become a team that's really, really unpredictable. And that is going to be very, very, very important against Champions League teams, against Premier League teams that are going to be watching us, that are going to be studying us and trying to suss us out. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, or at least you agree. Maybe you disagree. Even if you do, leave your comments below. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a debate in terms of how you think Crystal Palace is going to be faced on Monday, but also what we're going to do with the absence of Jurrien Timber. Is it going to be Gabriel? Is it going to be Kivior? Is it going to be Zinchenko? What are your thoughts? And I will see you in the next video. Bye.